In grading, there are different grade information that can be considered or recorded for students, like subjects, like behaviors, like skills, like attendance. So in nersapp, to be able to record those information, you have to create grading system for subjects, grading system for behavior and skills. In some schools, they might want to consider just behaviors. Some schools might want to consider skills only. Some might consider both. But to record any behavior and skills or skills, you have to create grading system for it. You also have to create grading system for attendance. To be able to create grading system in nersapp, so you can have results that should, like in this case, subjects. Like in this case here, you can see attendance information here and here. And you can see these are the grading keys that are recorded. You can see these are the grading keys that are recorded for affective domain and also psychomotor domain. Respectively, we're talking about behaviors and also skills. Then for subjects, we're talking about cognitive domain. And this is a grading keys. To do that in nersapp, you have to come up with your grading scheme that are used for your different school and different classes. It's possible that a grading scheme for JS1 is different from JS2 and from SS1 and for nursery and the rest. So next, I'm going to show you how to enter grading scheme for subjects. Let's take, for instance, for this tutorial, this is the grading scheme we've set up to be used for JS1 and 2. And for the scheme, we consider that A1, which is grade name. Whenever someone scored between 70 and 100, the person should be awarded this remark of excellent. For B2, between 60 to 69.9, to be awarded 60. Take note here, we didn't use 69 because it's possible that somebody scores 69.1. So if you don't define your boundaries appropriately, the person may not be assigned any grade remark or grade name here called B2. So you have to give the extent to which the boundary can be considered for a particular grade name, like in this case B2. So we have like C4 here, the remark there is good, and that means the student will have to score between 50 to 59.9 to be awarded this, then D7 and F9. As you can see here in this typical report card, you can see English, this person based on the total score 75, and the grade scale that was used here, as you can see here, between 70 to 100 should be A1. So as you can see here, the grade was assigned was A1 accordingly, and the remark of excellent was assigned. That's just an example of how our grade scheme works using nersapp. So let's simply go back and add a grade scheme for JS1 and JS2. So we're going to simply click on new grade and CAE scheme. And you can see in this environment, there's environment to create grade. Like what you're seeing here, this is the grade scheme. This is a typical example of the CAE scheme. In this case now, we're dealing with the tests and the exams. But for the first one, we're going to create the grade scheme. Then we go back to create the CAE scheme. As you can see here, there are 0 grade scheme for secondary school so far, and there are 0 CAE scheme. CAE means continuous assessment and exams. So that's what it means. So we're going to start with grade scheme. If we switch from grade scheme to CAE scheme and click new, that means you're trying to work with CAE scheme, but we're going to start with grade scheme. We're going to click new here. Based on our grading scheme that we set up here, so we're going to create it straight away. So provide our grading scheme name. You can call this JSS1 and 2. Let's make this capital. 1 and 2 grade scheme. And what type here? In nersapp, there are 2 ways you can record grade scheme. You can record it as a unit score. For instance, you can say, okay, someone who scored 70, there is no comparison. If you score 70, exactly 70, you should be awarded a particular grade remark or grade of, say, A. But if you want to compare, say, okay, if you score between 70 to 100, that means we're dealing with range score. So by default, most schools normally use range score, but nersapp gives room to provide a unit score. So let's pick range score and start adding our scheme row. So for the first one, say we are dealing with A1. If we give a grade name of A1, it wouldn't appear in this format that we normally know of, where you have A and the 1 is more like a subscript. In nersapp, if you want to achieve this subscript, you have to tell nersapp that this one here should have a subscript by using a particular pattern dash sub dash 1. By doing dash sub 1, nersapp will consider this one here to be a subscript. If you want this one to be a superscript, instead of using sub, you use sup. That means that this one here would be hanging above A, not below. But if you want it to be below A, we use sup. That's how to tell nersapp that this should be a subscript. So in this case, according to our grade scheme, we use 70 to 100. Just like I said, if you want this to be a unit comparison, you can simply use unit. So you can just consider only 70. That means you are comparing exactly what a student score with this value. But if you're going to do a range comparison, you switch to range. So we're going to give this excellent according to what we wrote there. You can give it a color, like you can see in this result here. For those that score excellent, the color is green. Very good. The color is blue. Between C range, you can see the different colors then. So you can come up with your own colors to use. Like in this case, we can say very good. It can be green also. Let's add more. You have A1, you have B3, or let's say B2, and B2 say 60 to 69.9. The remark there is very good. You can give it a color. Let's add a few more. You have C4, and here says 50 to 59.9. The remark there is good. The color here can be any color of your choice. You add a few more. D7, 40 to 49.9. Say it's pass. You can give it a dim color. Then finally, you can add F9. Take note, if you wish to make it sub, same thing with these ones, same thing with this, same thing with this. Here we have 0 to 39.9. This guy say we have fail, and we can give it a color red. Please take note, you are at liberty to create your ranges. It may not be from 0 to 100, it can be from 0 to 500 or to any other value, but it shouldn't go beyond 1000. That is our maximum structure for nersapp. When you're done creating this, you click save. This will add the grading scheme. Here, as you can see, we have one grading scheme in senior secondary. You can see for JS1, JS2, the type the score range is in reserve mode, and it has about 5 grades. To edit this scheme, you simply click the button, make some changes. When you're done, you click save. To delete, you click the delete button. As long as it's not in reserve mode, when you delete it, it will be gone. If it's in reserve mode, when you delete it, it will be here. So that is how to add and edit a grade scheme for students in different classes. You can add more for the different classes.